representatives for Musa, which is the Akram for Movement for United South Africa. I'm going to be joined by Brother Yusuf Patel, Brother Haroon Muhammed, and Brother Ismail Taladia. So from the inception, I think it was about 3 months ago when Musa decided they're going to provide supplementary tutoring lessons to support the matric students through a very challenging, difficult year. Salam Media then came on board in terms of assisting via broadcasting options. And this Saturday, so I've been on their group since inception, and they've just grown in momentum with more experts, individuals, professionals offering their assistance, because this is something everybody believes in. So Musa's vision is that of a unified South African community. And while COVID-19 shut down the country, the movement for United South Africa took this as an opportunity to reach out to all South Africans with the same drive for harmony and unity in South Africa. Saturday sessions were initiated when Musa introduced its programs of action to the broader community. Invitations were sent out to thought leaders on different topics to come in and illuminate to all those who demonstrate an active interest in those topics. This sparks some enlightening conversations and allowed Musa to glean varying opinions. And all the while position Musa as the home of harmonious through divergent viewpoints, knowledge sharing, and constructive debate. And Musa has gone thus. So Musa has developed, and then it was amazing the strides they made. They were able to build a partnership with ITV, Radio Islam, Salam Media, and the Western Cape Education Department to reach out and assist grades 9 to 12 with career guidance in Matriculants 2020 with exam preparation. This partnership was aimed at bringing the 2020 academic year to a successful close, despite the teaching and learning challenges created by the COVID pandemic. So let me welcome all three brothers. Let me just see if I have them online. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Yusuf, and welcome to Salam Media.
Wa alaikum salam, Mariam. Thanks for having us on.
I always see you posting on chat, so nice to actually meet you now. And then Assalamu alaikum, Brother Haroon, and welcome to Salam Media.
Walaikum salam, and thanks for having us.
And I would like to welcome back Brother Ismail Taladia to Salam Media. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Ismail.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you and to the viewers.
So, Brother Yusuf, let me start you. You put out a message of the review of 2020 and all the activities that Musa has undertaken in 2020. So, if you can just briefly explain to us some of the activities as well as a success around the vision of Musa.
Yes, Mariam, thank you, and assalamu alaikum as well to all the viewers. So Musa is a fairly new organization, although it started off last year around August with some discussions amongst group of activists that were beginning to look at the situation in the country and saw that there's a need. The country was departing from the constitutional values, and there was a need.
Salam, Sister Mariam. Can I suggest that Haroon goes on? It seems as if Yusuf has a challenge.
Okay, so
Please, Yusuf.
Haroon, you can take over.
No, I think Yusuf is clear there up on my system.
Yeah, Yusuf is still with us. Can you hear us, Brother Yusuf?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Okay, you can go ahead then.
All right. No, I was just saying that Musa started off last year, a group of community activists that were looking at the situation in the country, and there's concern around the fact that, as a country and as a society, we're moving away from the constitutional values. And the Constitution was actually aimed at making sure that we can actually bring dignity to the lives of all South Africans, and that we can make sure that we alleviate poverty, unemployment, and injustices in the country. And Musa, then it was more towards, as the lockdown was starting, where Musa really became quite more focused and put together some plans to say, how can we actually begin to advance socio-economic justice and development in the country, but then how can we also look at some more practical programs and projects. I think the one critical issue for us was the issue around economic development, and we're saying, we need to make the economy more inclusive. We need to involve everyone and make sure there's support and there's upliftment of people in communities. And linked to economic development is the critical issue of education, and both education at a formal level, but also education in communities where communities can be empowered and upskilled to be able to look at livelihoods, setting up businesses, and becoming more self-sustaining. So that was the kind of context around the whole education program. But with the onset of COVID, we then looked at some immediate needs and realized that many of our learners were faced with many difficulties and challenges during the year. And the idea was then to look at a specific support program for the learners, especially from grade 9, looking at career guidance, but specifically also for the matric learners to assist them with matric preparation. But all of this, fits in within a broader, more transformative program that Musa is looking at with regard to education. We believe there's three very important areas with regard to having a what we call a 21st century vision for education, which is very transformative, and it's focused around the one element is around making sure that education is responding to the needs of the economy and also towards this new economic paradigm, which is about looking at the value in the economy and looking at how we can build a more inclusive economy, looking at the environment, building a green economy. How can we bring the informal activities and micro activities and support that more? So that's the one element around the education system being more responsive to the economy. The second area.
Let me just then include Brother Haroon to come in here. So, Brother Haroon, you can take in, because I see, for me, one of the, I think, one of the best ways to create this vision that Musa has set out is through education. And also for me, like you say, our constitutional values ensures that every person is treated with dignity. And part of assisting somebody to have their dignity is through providing them with a good foundation and good education. And I see that's where Musa's focus is, to ensure that each South African receives a quality education. So even if for now you are supplementing it to ensure that everybody has access towards a quality education. So Brother Haroon, tell me, how is that vision planned out for you in action?
Shukran, Mariam. So as Yusuf was saying, this is part of a broader discussion. In fact, the Musa Education Task Team had been looking at gaps and opportunities in the education system from birth to death, just before the COVID lockdown processes struck. And we've identified, quite a number of areas where even, despite or in spite of COVID, the system has got weaknesses and opportunities. But when COVID hit, as Yusuf was saying, we estimating that on average, learners have lost about 25 days of learning. In the poorer communities, it's much more because, the whole structure of learning had broken down. And with the resources that we were able to mobilize, as you explained earlier on, we decided to zoom in on grade 9 career guidance advice, and Ismail Taladia played quite a strong role in that particular area. And also then looking at the grade 12s. The grade 12s that just completed this year, we identified that they would be in quite a bit of need for support. What we then did is we had about 4 weeks of focus on career guidance, and Ismail will say a little bit more about it. We covered guidance on subject choices for the grade 9s, because that was the period when the grade 9s had to start making their choices. But we also focused on university entrance, entrance to technical and vocational education, and also to cater for learners who would never find a job. in the arena of entrepreneurship and job creation. But just if I can maybe just quickly say then, as a result of the partnerships that we forged with yourselves, with ITV and Radio 786, we managed to run more than 20 sessions covering more than 20 subjects involving more than 20 specialized educationists who were able to offer well-packaged presentations on how to prepare for the exam. But I would like to ask Ismail to maybe speak about the career guidance part of it, because he's the specialist in that one.
Yes, I know the last time we spoke, Ismail is visionary in terms of preparing our learners for the 21st century as well as the fourth industrial revolution. And also, I know he's passionate about ensuring that everybody is focused and receives some sort of education or induction into STEAM technology as well. So how is the career guidance received, and as well as learners as well as the parents moving away from those traditional social science subjects and embracing subjects like electrical technology, information system, CAT, or is everybody still focused on those traditional subjects that are familiar to them?
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you and to the viewers once again. I think it's important that there's a mindset change that needs to happen. Traditionally, our parents are still focused on your teacher, engineer, doctor, lawyer, accountant program. So if you're going to, I'm sure in your own families and in our communities, our parents are still having that same conversation. However, it is our responsibility to ensure that our parents and the youth begin to look a bit wider than those traditional careers and look at what is available. We keep talking about moving into the fourth industrial revolution, and so what does that entail? And it becomes important then for all of us to engage in this particular conversation so that people can see what is available, what does our country need, and what are the pathways that we need to outline for our learners so that they begin to follow those particular pathways that's going to get them into being productive citizens of this country. So yes, we do have the traditional programs that we follow, and we engage with the universities in order for the universities to guide us in terms of what is available, what are the courses that they are offering, and how do we get our learners into those programs. But it was also important to engage with the TVET colleges so that people begin to understand that everything is not about the academics, but that we also need to be looking at preparing young people to go into the artisanal fields. And again, in those artisanal fields, it is not only confined to being a plumber and electrician, but there are other vocations that are available in that particular field that we need to prepare our learners for. The National Department of Basic Education has established the 3 streams model, and they've introduced 30 new subjects into the
Yes,
curriculum.
sorry to interrupt. I was just going to ask you, what is your view in this? Because 2 weeks ago, last week, I engaged the teacher unions regarding the 13 subjects that are going to be introduced in grade 8 and grade 9. And that's exactly what you're saying, because it's already preparing them for those vocations that should they leave the system at grade 9, they can then pursue a career via the TVET colleges, because they've got everything from agricultural sciences to, like you say, your plumbing is there, your draftsmanship. So it's a very comprehensive thing. My only concern is, does education department in government per se have the capacity to roll this, especially in rural areas, as well as our educators upskilled enough to then teaching when it comes to teaching didactics in this?
I think, Mariam, it's important to understand that the program is being piloted. And the fact that it's being piloted means that we will use 2021 to visit this particular program and see what the teething issues are as we implement. I know in the Western Cape, we're only introducing it into 22 schools. So those 22 schools have already been prepared in terms of what to expect going into 2021. So those 22 schools are being supported by the national department through the provincial department in terms of ensuring that people are upskilled. I'm sure they are looking at individuals that will provide the expertise in terms of being able to deliver the content of those subjects. And therefore, through the pilot, we'll be able to pick up what it is that we need to do, what needs to be tweaked, so that as we progress into 2022, we'll have a better understanding of being able to fully implement these particular subjects, because already there are schools that are claiming that they want to be part of the pilot program, but unfortunately we're not ready to roll it out across all schools, and therefore we need to engage with this particular curriculum during 2021 so as to prepare everybody in the best possible way for everybody to be exposed to the subject. Because in our challenge schools, we are finding that people are seeing this as a way of guiding our learners into better prospects.
Okay, so I want to go back to, let's just see, we've got Yusuf, your connection is not so steady, but so that's one aspect. In this year, Imaginita's focus was on education, and I think you've done an excellent job as Musa to supplement that and provide assistance, much needed assistance in terms of career guidance, as well as tutoring for the matrics. But Musa sees itself as a facilitator of social reform in unity, and aims to bring about change through economic transformation. So what are the other areas in terms of social development that Musa is going to focus themselves in 2021? Can I get Brother Yusuf to answer that, or Brother Haroon?
Let Yusuf start. I'll follow.
Okay.
Yeah, so Miriam, I think, as part of Musa's socioeconomic justice and development program, obviously the formal part of education and continuing with these sort of programs is going to be important, and we're going to do that and do more of it in 2021. But also we want to begin to look at the broader issues around education, and the key question is, what kind of learners and individuals do we want to produce out of the education system, both the formal education system, but also through community level education initiatives. So, I was saying earlier that one of the key things is to ensure that people are ready for 21st century and the new economy, etc. But also that we begin to integrate knowledge systems, between your secular and religious knowledge systems, indigenous and modernized knowledge systems, formal and informal education and knowledge systems, and that must become part of individual growth and development and leadership. And the third element is around morals and ethics, and how do we build this as part of transformed learners and individuals. So we're looking at a much more holistic kind of approach, and what it will also include is at community level to begin to start engaging in communities, in community planning projects, but to do it in a way that is empowering, that builds social solidarity, social cohesion, but also sense of civic pride and citizenship, etc. And that kind of learning and education and empowerment at that level is going to be quite crucial as well. So that's how we're looking at bringing all this together in a more robust way going forward.
So, Brother Haroon, in closing, so Musa has realized that not enough research has been done around issues affecting social cohesion and in the quest to achieve economic justice. So in order to measure its impact, I see Musa has said that they will undertake to do necessary research, and this will emanate from field work and necessitating the creation of champions within the communities themselves. So you can just elaborate a little on that. But I see Musa also wants to, well, you've seen the need to have civic society organizations, and also get citizens to engage actively with government. And to achieve this outcome, I see Musa has, I don't know if it's already, is it established or in a process of being established, but Musa is and wants to set up a Musa Parliamentary Office, which will work to ensure that the work is correlated with government efforts and the needs are expressed. So the needs of the ordinary citizens on the ground will be expressed and understood by government. So can you just explain to us a little bit more about this this research as well as creating active citizens on the grassroots?
Okay, so because of the parliamentary office process, that's already underway, and the Musa website has got regular reports on the work that is being done in that area. But just before we move on, you raise an interesting question about the capacity of the government system to be able to deliver on some of the new developments. But, Musa's role is precisely in that gap. First is to identify, so I think it's very clear if you look at all the reports and experiences that government's ability to deliver on its huge mandate is quite limited. And Musa sees its role as firstly identifying those gaps and then mobilizing civil society to address the gaps. So as Ismail was saying, and as you were saying, the need to identify champions from communities to be able to supplement and add on to government's capacity to do the work. Just an interesting example of what we're speaking about is when we were doing one of these programs, a deaf learner drew attention to the fact that our programs were not inclusive of their needs. And very quickly then, we spoke to a couple of specialists, and I think for over a month and a half, we then had sign interpreters presenting the programs. And one of the offshoots of that discussion is that we are quite likely to next year have a whole series on the subject sign language. So clearly what Musa has already been able to do is identify a number of gaps and mobilize community resources to come to address the gaps with whatever resources are possible. I don't know if Yusuf wants to add some of the other champion issues that Musa is advocating.
Brother Yusuf, we've just got a few minutes left, so maybe what we can do is I can ask you to round up and then we'll give Ismail an opportunity as well.
Okay, thanks, Mariam. Yeah, just to say, obviously Musa has got a number of programs. We are facilitating the establishment of a parliamentary liaison office, and it's really as an inclusive platform to bring a range of organizations, together to address issues of common interest, especially around advancing socioeconomic development. So that's a very exciting, project that Musa is embarking on. And obviously, linked to that will be continuing to work in a number of areas, still, ensuring that we're promoting ongoing engagement on our different platforms. We have the, Saturday Connect platform where we try and engage on different issues and topics, but also to generate ideas to come up with practical programs. And we also have our different platform newsletters, etc., that we'll be taking forward into the new year. So there's a number of different key performance areas that we are looking at, and we're hoping that 2021 we inviting many more people, organizations, individuals to become part of Musa. We're looking for volunteers, but also to just advance the consciousness that we want to advance in relation to saying, there's a lot of challenges in our country. We can't sit back and complain about all the problems and issues, but we're saying as Musa, let's become proactive, let's become constructive, let's see how we can also build capacity within civil society organizations to start taking the initiative and taking control also of some of the development processes. Let's hold government accountable where we need to, but let's take a constructive approach and start building the kind. We actually need a skills revolution in this country, and we need an upliftment process, and Musa wants to facilitate that at all levels. Thanks, Maria.
A pleasure. Brother, closing words from you, Brother Ismail.
Well, I think the platforms that was created this year, maybe by default because of COVID-19, but I think it brought a lot of people together on platforms that our learners and our parents and our teachers would probably not have experienced at any other level. So we were able to put together experts in various fields from the universities, from the TVET colleges, from the education departments and civil society experts that were able to share their own experiences and share their expertise in terms of exposing what they were doing and giving guidance to our community in terms of moving to the next level. I think we can only build on what our experience were this year with Musa and all of the other platforms that we engaged in, and enhance that so that our community can benefit from the expertise that is available.
So, Jazakallah to all of you. I'd like to acknowledge yourselves as well as all the other members who so selflessly give up their time, their expertise, their resources to ensure that we have a productive society, especially the support you're giving our youth so that they can be prepared to run a country that we all can be proud of, a united democratic South Africa. And I love what you said, Yusuf, that yes, we're always quick to complain and moan, but we need to be solution based. We need to be constructive, and we need to support government where there are gaps, and especially when we have the skills and we can, because after all, we need to create a society that we can be proud and leave our legacy behind. And I think what you are doing as members of Musa is exactly that, leaving a legacy behind. I know you are well into your senior years, but I'm so proud that you're still giving us of your time and your expertise, because this is what young South Africans require more than anything, is mentorship and skills upliftment. So I'm definitely going to continue in terms of supporting Musa wherever best I can myself, in terms of my skills and expertise, as well as providing a platform here on Salam Media for Musa. And hopefully, let's see how we can grow for better South Africa that we all can be proud and call home. Shukran so much for joining us here on Salam Media, Brother Yusuf, Brother Haroon, and Brother Ismail. May you always be under the mercy and the protection of the Almighty.
Amin.
We're going to go for a short break, and when we get back, our final 20 minutes on Inspired Afternoons with Mariam Mia and Duru Kapo.